Good morning and welcome to Ask About Altrusa. Yes, we are excited today because for those who don't know it, I consider myself to be an honorary District 2 member. And so we have with us today past Governor Dianne Vann. Good morning, Dianne.
Good morning, Jillian. Thank you for this opportunity to visit with you this morning.
That's okay. I'm loving the chance to talk to all my favorite Altrusans from all over the world. So it's great to have you here, and hopefully we'll have quite a few people joining us. I will just mention to them, if you are joining us live and you want to send a comment, please make sure that StreamYard has your name, because otherwise all I see is a random comment saying Facebook user. And it would be really nice to be able to address who's with us. So Amy Renee Miller, she's got the message. Good morning, ladies, she says. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning.
So let's get started while people start filtering in. And for the benefit of people who don't know you, Dianne, tell us a little bit about your non-Altrusa life, family, pets, occasion.
All right. Well, I am a member of Altrusa International of Martinsville in Henry County. Of course, we're in Virginia. We live in very southern Virginia, not very far from the North Carolina border. And I have a family of 2 daughters now. My husband was deceased some years ago. Lost him to cancer, but I have 2 wonderful daughters. One lives near me in Bassett, Virginia, and works for a local company. My older daughter and her husband live in Richmond, Virginia, where she's the executive director of a nonprofit working with the homeless, and she is past president of the Richmond Altrusa Club. So we have a lot of Altrusa in our family. And there is one other very, very important household member living with me, and that is my very fat cat who weighs at least 20 pounds, and his name is Little Kitty, which is quite a misnomer, obviously. I am a retired educator. I was a high school math teacher for many years, and then I went to the central office and I was a director of testing. Obviously, these are 2 roles which probably didn't endear me to a lot of students. Now, though, being retired, I find out you work just about as hard, you just don't get paid for it because volunteer organizations find you very, very quickly. So in addition to my Altrusa activities, I work with our local crisis center, the Grace Network, and I also have a number of responsibilities at my church. As for things I personally enjoy, I love to travel. I have kept contact for quite a few years, over 50, with a number of my classmates from the University of Richmond, and we travel together on a major trip about every other year. Unfortunately, COVID-19 messed that up this year, but I hope we'll get back to that next year. So that's a little bit about me, my background, and what I enjoy.
Thank you. And let's just mention all those people who have been lovely enough to tell us who is here. So as well as Amy, we have Linda Dorr watching us. Okay. Karen Robinson is with us. And good morning, District Governor for District 4, Suzanne Allred. Hey.
Good morning to all.
So my next question is coming to the topic in hand. Who introduced you to Altrusa?
All right. Well, the person who introduced me to Altrusa is watching right now. And it's a person that many of you know because of their local, their district, and their service at the international level. I was on a high school faculty with Linda Dorr, and I heard Linda talking with people about Altrusa. I knew nothing about Altrusa. She was talking about Altrusa and the projects they were doing and sounded like they were having a nice time doing them. So eventually she invited me to attend a meeting. I did, and that was it. I was hooked. So Linda is responsible for inviting me to my first Altrusa experience.
Well, Linda Dorr is hopefully going to be my victim. I mean, another guest for me at a later date. So we'll be sure to catch up with her. But thank you, Linda, because, you know, look what you did. You did good. Why Altrusa, though? What convinced you, Dianne, to become an Altrusan?
Well, as I said, I didn't know much about Altrusa, but Linda invited me to a meeting. And when I went, the first thing I noticed was I knew a lot of people who were there, either professionally or personally or through organizations. And I knew about what kind of people they were as far as the community was, for doing things for our community. And that certainly appealed to me. And then when we got to the meeting, it was well planned and well organized. I don't mean it was stilted or stiff or anything like that, but you could they planned their meetings and their activities. And as I was there, they began to talk about their service projects. And I was amazed at the service projects that this small group was undertaking and the degree to which they were dedicated to community service. And that was appealing to me, to be part of that. And I found out that, often when we are in a profession, we tend to flock together with people of our own profession. Like in my case, it was education. But there were people with different interests and different professional responsibilities and different talents. And that was important. It gave you an opportunity to sort of step out of your own zone and meet other people. And last, my club often gets together and we have a meal before our meeting. And I don't know very many Altrusans that don't like to eat.
That's for sure. I think just about every meeting I've ever gone to, there's been a meal, even when it's not been an official meeting, I have one of my best memories is we used to decorate the tree at Texas Scottish Rite. I'm saying used to. Altrusa of Dallas still does it. Sorry, folks. I just don't get to do it anymore, having moved. But, there would usually be a meal afterwards, and that was great. It's the fellowship just as much as the project.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your Altrusa journey from when you first became an Altrusan to today.
Well, I first became a member of Altrusa in 2003. Doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was. And I learned quickly something I've often heard people say since I've been in Altrusa. You don't just join Altrusa, you become an Altrusa. And I tell you, I find out you quickly become an involved Altrusan also. So after joining, I participated in our activities and our projects and served on committees and so forth. And then in 2007, I became the president of our club. Now, I'll admit, as many Altrusans, we are nervous about assuming a leadership position. And I was nervous, but fortunately, I had someone from the district level at that time who was very encouraging and very supportive and who convinced me that it didn't matter if you didn't know every single thing in Robert's Rules of Order. And that was our past international president, our past District 2 governor, Sylvia Silverman. So after my tenure as our club president, I served as communications chair under two governors, Nancy Minter and Sandy Craig in District 2. And that's where I got to work with the newsletters and the yearbooks and all that sort of thing, getting them judged and awarded. And after that, I was asked if my name could be placed on the district ballot for second vice governor. And I was elected second vice governor, and I served as that. Normally, if you're going to move up, the next step would have been first vice governor. But unfortunately, because of some circumstances in our district, I skipped that step and went right to governor-elect. So from 2013 to 2015, I was governor-elect for District 2, went to Reno for the training and all of that. And then in 2015, I became the District 2 governor. And throughout this, and I think this is important to me, I tried not to get so engrossed in those levels that I didn't maintain my close ties and close service with my own local club. I think that was important to me. And as my father used to tell me, don't forget where you came from. So that's sort of my Altrusa history. And now, having no longer being governor or past governor, I am the District 2 liaison for Days for Girls.
Awesome. I know I speak for many when I say that it is important. We are all Altrusans at heart, and the heart of it all is service. So whatever level of service we're called to do, it's amazing how we still find time to keep the grassroots.
That's right. That's right.
So thinking about service, that kind of leads me into my next subject.
Okay.
You've obviously taken part in any number of projects. I want you to think both about club, district, and international. And you've mentioned Days for Girls, and that is obviously a very worthwhile project that International is sponsoring. But what is your favorite project that you've ever taken part in?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the club level. We live in a small town community, and the needs, and every community has its own needs. So at our club level, we try to look at our community, what are its needs, and how can we be of service to those needs. The Martinsville-Henry County area at one time was one of the most industrialized in the state of Virginia. And so we were fairly prosperous in our community. And then we know, times change and industries move out abroad or move out or whatever. And our community underwent quite a change. And so families were often struggling. They were facing unemployment, those kinds of things. And that, of course, affected their children. And literacy is very important to our club as well as other service projects. And so we created what became our signature projects. People still know us for this. I know that now many organizations collect school supplies and those kinds of things, but we were the first to take it to a high level in our community. And so we had a project called Fill Up the Bus, and people still talk about it. We sat for a number of hot days on a school bus in front of Walmart, and people would go in and purchase and come out and give us school supplies. So that was very beneficial to our community, and particularly the children in our community. Now, as I said, other organizations have expanded in taking it over, but that was a special project that sort of got our name on the map, if you will. Mm-hmm. Then we had another project that I really, truly still cherish. Our community, like I suspect many others, have a problem with littering. You ride on your streets and your roadways, and unfortunately you see where litter has been thrown out and so forth. So we felt this would be a good project for us to try to address. And we collaborated with our local governor's school. They were a group of very talented students under a very talented research teacher. They designed, wrote, and illustrated a book for the level for children to read. It was called Just One Wrapper, and here it is.
Awesome.
And then Altrusa stepped in, and we helped finance the publication of that book. And we published enough copies that every third grader in Martinsville and Henry County could get their own individual copy. Then we as Altrusans paired ourselves with a member of the governor's school class, and we went out and visited every third grade class in Martinsville and Henry County. And either the Altrusan or the student read the book to the students, talked about the importance of not littering, and then we gave them their individual copy, and we asked them to go home and read it with their parents and talk about littering. And it's hard to measure the impact of something like this, but we truly hope that it has made a difference.
Wow, that is a truly awesome project. Did you just do it that one year? Was it something that you followed up on?
Well, we did it that one year, and we would like to have continued, but publication was very expensive. And so we have not continued it, but there's still the books out there, and hopefully in households they're still being used. But I felt like it was one of our most special projects.
Who knows? You never say never. One day you might find someone who can sponsor it, because to me, that sounds like something that many of us could try in many areas.
And Jillian, a byproduct of that was the lady who taught those gifted students in that research class has now become an Altrusan.
Wonderful. Always, always a good thing to have. And I'm going to agree here. Linda Smith is with us, and Linda has just said, you know, what an awesome local project.
Well, they were our local projects. And then for the district and international, I'm probably going to sound repetitive because it both for me goes back to Days for Girls. I think that we often so much take for granted things and don't realize the challenges that much of the world face, or women and girls throughout the world face, not only for their health needs, but for things that allow them to pursue their education and make better lives for themselves. And to me, this is a project that Days for Girls addresses. I know we adopted it as an international project in Nashville in 2017. But it continues on today. And there's so many ways to participate. It doesn't matter what your financial resources are. You know, you can donate financially, or you can pick up little things to go in the kits, or you can meet and help to assemble kits. There's a role for everyone to play in that project. And I think it can mean so much in our local communities, in our country, and in our global community. And we talk a lot about community service, and we do emphasize that, but we also consider global service important. And so I'm going to make a pitch now, Jillian, ask people to continue working on Days for Girls and keeping that as a priority, because even in this time we're facing now with the pandemic, those needs don't stop. It knows no virus, and those needs continue. So I hope that Altrusa can continue to really support that project.
Well, I am so pleased that you have the opportunity to make that pitch. You know, what we're here for is to help, and it's really a great project for Altrusans everywhere.
Right.
Thinking about all the things that you've achieved while you've been in Altrusa, all the places you've been, I wonder if there's one moment in time that just gives you goosebumps, that just makes you, you know, if you had to just frame one moment in time, what would it be?
Okay, well, my moment in time, I think, occurred on the evening in 2015 when I was installed as the governor of District 2. Not because it's about a title or anything, but being a little country girl, I grew up in a family that ran a traditional country store where you sold everything from groceries to work clothes, to gas, to hardware, whatever. And I worked in the country store. And on that evening in 2015, as I looked out at the audience when I was being installed, and I saw my club members who'd come to support me, family members, and many, many other outstanding Altrusans, people who I felt were so much more deserving than I. It was a very meaningful moment for me, and it made an impact on my life that made me want to try to work to deserve some of what had been given to me. It was such an honor to be able to be installed as governor among so many wonderful people. And to make that moment a little more special, my installation was planned and conducted by an Altrusan that I have always placed on a pedestal, a past governor of District 2, a past international president, and a recipient of the Eleanor Roosevelt Humanitarian Award, and that was Phyllis Gorman. So that made it even more special for me.
Wonderful. It might seem as if it's the same question, but it truly isn't. Let's just imagine for a moment that we've all shared the link, we've all told our friends, watch these podcasts, find out a bit about Altrusa. If there's something that, somebody's out there watching and they think, why should I become an Altrusan? What would you tell them?
Okay. Well, as you say, we can all see the literature and we can see the slogans and so forth and so on. But sometimes if you can bring it to a little more personal level with people, it is impactful. We all know that right now we're living in challenging times with health concerns, times with societal concerns, and all of that. And so I would tell that person, and I already have someone in mind to tell this all too soon. I would tell that person that in these challenging times, there is a group where they can go, they can be truly welcomed, they can be part of a group of dedicated, insightful Altrusans who are working with common purposes, not related to, divisiveness or politics or any given religion or culture or anything, but people who are united to impact their communities, both their local community and their global community. So I would share that with them because I think truly that is my perspective on Altrusa. And it will offer you an opportunity to work with people of, as I mentioned before, diverse interests, diverse backgrounds, and diverse talents. And we can all gain from each other. Then we all have personal needs too, social needs. We need friendship. We need to feel valued, and need to feel welcome. We can all work on the projects, but we have those personal needs too. And I think that Altrusa certainly satisfies those needs that we all have. And then I think I would tell them that this is their opportunity to be a contributing member in their community, but also we all like to have fun and fellowship. And I think Altrusans certainly do that. I've seen you enjoying that with us in District 2, Jillian.
What happens at convention stays at convention, remember?
That's right. Not only Las Vegas, but convention too.
Oh, yeah.
and it also, I would tell them it's an opportunity to develop leadership skills. That's one of our objectives in Altrusa too. It's not only the service, but growing as a person and developing your leadership skills, which often carries over into your profession. So thinking of these things, I think I would just say to them, Altrusa has it all.
Absolutely. Well, I really want to thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I think you do so much for your community. You talked about your Grace Community project that you're working with. I would love to find out more about that. I wish, we had time, but unfortunately we don't. The purposes of these podcasts are kind of limited, but never know. You never know.
I'll be there tomorrow.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Dianne, and have a great day. We will talk with you, I'm sure, another time, because I have some ideas for future podcasts that will not be quite in this format. But for now, take care, and I will talk to you soon.
And thank you, Jillian, for what you're doing with these podcasts.
It's my pleasure. So to everyone that's been watching, I do ask that you try to set a reminder to check out the YouTube channel, because you can subscribe to YouTube and that way you won't miss any future podcasts. My next victim stroke guest hopefully is going to be past governor for District 9, Sylvia Zamora. She and I spoke yesterday, and so we're just going to have to confirm schedules as to a date and time, but I will publish that just as soon as I have it set up. And so in the meantime, take care, everyone. Just let me know if you've got suggestions for future guests. If you have questions for someone you know that's going to be a future guest, I look forward to hearing from you. So thank you all so much.